The military has again warned against plans to sabotage the handover of power to the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu on May 29th. The High Command said the armed forces were on standby and would ensure a smooth transition process scheduled to take place in 24 days. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, handed down the warning on Thursday. Damadami's caution came a month after the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Toko Gusau, vowed that the military would resist anything that would truncate democracy in the country. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, has threatened to crack down on potential threats to national security and warned the indigenous people of Biafra, Eastern Security Network, and other fringe groups not to test the will of the military. Some aggrieved candidates had kicked against the planned inauguration of the president-elect before their suits at the election petition tribunals are concluded. As the administration of Muhammad Buhari is winding down, the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, Laolu Akonde, has said that the administration has put Nigeria on the right trajectory. Akonde, who however conceded that there are few things the Buhari administration could have done better, noted that the administration has enough to show for the last 8 years. He added that the country is lucky that it is the same party that will be taking over for the next 4 years. Describing Oshibajo as one of the best vice presidents the country has ever had, Akonde said that the preparation of Oshibajo had gotten over the years stood him out. The aide commended the combination of Buhari and Oshibajo, saying that they have a common purpose in doing things. The House of Representatives has asked the Independent National Electoral Commission to develop a system to delete dead voters from the voter register. This was the resolution of the lawmakers after a motion of urgent national importance by a member, Leke Abejide, drawing the attention of the House to what he described as irregularities observed during the 2023 general election. Abejide, who moved the motion, said his late father's name was seen in the INEC register. The lawmakers further urged the Electoral Commission to register any voter who does not vote in 2 election circles. Earlier, the House directed the National Assembly clerk to transmit the bill for a constitutional amendment to provide for uniform retirement age for judicial officers and pension rights to President Muhammad Buhari. The constitutional bill, if assented to by the President, will extend the retirement age of the High Court judges from 65 to 70 years. Troops of Operation Adinkai Theater Command have rescued 2 more girls abducted from CHIBOK local government area, Borno State, in April 2014. The rescue comes 9 years after Boko Haram terrorists stormed their school while they were writing the West African Senior School Certificate examination. Respite came for the victims, Esther Marcus and Awa Mota, both of them 26, as they were rescued by the troops at Lagara, a Boko Haram enclave, Sambiso Forest, on April 21, 2023. With the latest rescue, the total number of girls now out of the terrorist captivity now stands at 125, including 107 released by the terrorists themselves in 2018, 3 rescued by troops in 2019, 2 in 2021, and 11 in 2022. Now, according to the Theater Commander, Operation Adinkai Theater Command, Major General Ibrahim Salah Ali, 94 are still unaccounted for. The Presidential Amnesty Program has been restructured to tackle restiveness and unemployment in the Niger Delta and is empowering youth in the area with requisite skills. Its interim administrator, retired Major General Barry Indiomu, has also solicited the partnership of the Nigerian Port Authority for some of its programs, especially for the deep-sea diving school in Rivers State. The program's chief executive said in September 2022, when he took over, he redirected the vision of the organization towards the initial concept of building the capacity of the teeming restive youth in the region, because the program had been drifting away from the core objectives. A statement issued in Abuja on Friday by Special Assistant on Media, Preston Apple, said Indiomu stated this during a courtesy call on the managing director of the Nigerian Port Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko, and other management teams in Lagos. While condemning Indiomu for boosting the capacity of youth in the Niger Delta, Bello Koko assured the program's team of the willingness of the agency to provide technical support and other assistance needed for the success of the deep-sea diving school. A national industrial court sitting in Owerri has issued an interim order restraining the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress or any of its agents or affiliates from embarking or continuing to embark on any strike action in Imo State, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice for interlocutory injunction filed in the suit. In the interim injunction signed by Justice Nelson Ogunaya, the court also restrained the NLC and TUC or any of its affiliates from stopping, hindering, disrupting, or interfering in any manner whatsoever with the provision of services and other work by the member in the civil and public service in Imo, pending the hearing. Justice Ogunaya ordered the applicants, which is the Imo State government, to serve the originating summons, motion and notice and other processes in the suit on the defendants, which are the NLC and the TUC, along with the interim order granted. The court said they can do so by publication in any national newspaper circulating in Nigeria in the event that prompt service of court processes and the interim order cannot be effected on trade unions as prescribed under the rules of court before the return date of further proceeding. The judge, however, sets the return date for the court proceedings and hearing of the matter till May 11th, 2023. A Lagos High Court sitting at the Tafawa Balewa Square has admitted in evidence 2 handwritten statements made by Chidinma Ojukwu, the key suspect in the murder of the Chief Executive Officer of Super TV, Usifo Ataga. While ruling on a trial within trial to determine the voluntariness of the statements, Justice Yetunde Adesoya held that the prosecution proved beyond reasonable doubt that Chidinma made the statements willingly and without duress. Through a counsel, Mr. Onwuka Ego, the defendant, had alleged that her statements were not voluntarily made, claiming she was slapped and forced to sign the statement after it was written by the police officer whom she insisted to her initial statement. Chidinma is standing trial for the alleged murder of Ataga and is also charged with stealing and forgery alongside her sister Chioma Egbuchu and one Adedakbo Kodri. Chidinma and Kodri are alleged to have conspired and murdered Ataga on June 15, 2021 by stabbing him several times with a knife in the neck and chest. Justice Adesoya has adjourned the case until May 30th for continuation of trial. President Joe Biden has issued an executive order authorizing sanctions against Sudan, saying the fighting must end. Biden, who called the violence a tragedy and the betrayal of the Sudanese people, said the violence in Sudan was an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Earlier, the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, told a U.S. Senate committee that the conflict was likely to be protracted, as both sides believed they could win militarily and had few incentives to negotiate. The latest ceasefire has failed to hold, with heavy fighting continuing in the capital Khartoum, as well as the adjoining cities of Omdurman and Bari. The World Food Programme has estimated that more than $13 million worth of food aid destined for Sudan has been looted since fighting broke out last month. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida says his country is ready to assist Mozambique in the fight against terrorism. The Japanese Prime Minister is visiting Mozambique as part of his 6-day tour that took him to 3 other African countries, that is Ghana, Kenya, and Egypt. He said Japan was interested in financing the fight against terrorism in northern Cabo Delgado province, which would allow Japanese companies that are part of the consortiums exploiting natural gas in the Rovuma Basin to operate in a safe environment. Kishida and Mozambican President Filipe Nyusi spoke of a need for Japanese private investment in structural areas of the economy with a view to concrete results in bilateral cooperation. Mr. Yusi urged the Japanese to explore investment opportunities in transport, agriculture, industry, and terrorism.